Welcome everyone to Hacking Infinity, the Eschaton. Yes, we're actually playing the playtest campaign, and I am
Hooray!
beside myself with
Wait,
joy
are
and
we not
giddiness.
doing Magical Girls Part 2? Are we doing
We
is
can't do
is
We,
it
Magical
well,
Girls Part 2, and we can't
no
do
no I'm just
the
joking.
Crystal Cave Part 2 because one of you is here. Wait, both. Now, if
Mutual
Brad
exclusive.
leaves, I can start another one shot. That's
well, yeah. I mean, except for not being there, I would love to check out a third uh, Beady Bones setting.
I'm
Um,
working on a wrestling one because I
Wrestling.
realized
Oh my!
that I
Like
don't have
professional
one
wrestling.
yet. Professional wrestling, yeah, but like crazy, like Japanese luchador style. By crazy, I mean more creative and less boring.
Yes.
So,
Yes. Uh, uh, Possessing an alternative neural structure with upsides and downsides,
Yes.
costumes
and
and
more fun.
kisses.
Yeah. Uh, so yeah, and I vaguely sort of remember where we left things, uh, but
I
I'm a
think I was
gold
about
hungry
to
god
push
now.
one of my people into somebody else's god goo.
yeah, okay.
Hi, hello. Hi there. Hello.
That definitely sounds like a thing
Mhm.
that was going on.
Yeah,
Thank you for
Adam's
your
in
genetic
the
feature.
oven. Daze is about to push one in.
Yeah.
I don't know where I am. I think I just re-sleeved
Yeah.
and things happened, but I don't remember them because of dice.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
you
I,
had sort of a bad grow, right?
yeah.
You
Mhm. Well, I just
wound.
the same thing came out.
Yes. You wound up with the same
With like
stats as
spikes in
before,
your
and
flesh or something. Is that right? Like you had protrusions of some kind? Like your
Um,
body was a bit strange?
I mean that doesn't. I mean that sounds like the kind of thing that would happen in this game, but I don't recall it happening.
It was more angular, I remember.
Oh,
Something
this
about
was I
points.
did like a little redesign on it. I did a little touch up on my form. Um, and I just as a quick tangent, I decided that the different stat lines should have different voices because they're like different genetic configurations.
Different vocal cords.
um, and did you also well, I don't remember. I think you forgot something in
Yeah,
being
some
re-sleeved. I don't remember what it
despite
is
the
that you
fact
forgot.
that yeah, it's despite the fact that every turn I'm agreeing to what everyone else wants, they're still upset because that's the nature of life. And so it was another. I think it was a new faction of people who were displeased, not the illustrious order shanked me just before I regrew, but then the memory was lost in the fudged roll.
Oh yes.
You don't remember your last death.
Yeah, I thought it was just a regular. I thought I elected a resleeve, but I did not.
You were voted into a re-sleep.
Mhm.
Caesar.
Politics. I don't need it. And Tom was dealing with some lurking capitalists, but I'm not sure how far that had gone to them being aware of it.
I remember someone. I think one of your dudes had a meeting with a representative, the one that we designed together.
Yes.
But I can't remember what was discussed or how it went.
It was the
Uh,
kid one, and
mhm. uh,
I
I think
needed them to move the
third.
terraformer from the aesthetic planet to my planet
Mhm.
because I couldn't leave the planet without it without breaking the verbal agreement that took decades to get. So,
It's true.
Jacqueline Danvers.
yes, Jacqueline Danvers.
And as I recall, the meeting actually went pretty well,
Mhm.
in that your representatives weren't corrupted by all the forward fashion,
Right.
and Jacqueline agreed um, to do the transport in return for having just like
I invited
access
them.
access to society that they in theory would have anyway.
Yeah. I gave them something everyone has and made them feel special about it. I'm pretty good at my job.
Oh yeah.
Um, and okay, so and let me see, what was the last thing that happened with at Alaska?
I think I got re-sleeved and transported back to my planet, I think. And my new form is like this sort of Greek god sort of thing, I remember.
Were you the more angular one then?
I don't think so.
I remember somebody being more angular.
Yeah, I
No,
remember that
it
too.
was me. I gave myself a touch up. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
I'm a bit less humany now, a bit more insecty, but just a little bit.
It's a smidge.
Yeah, my inner Tim Gunn came to visit, and he was like, you need to make this work, darling." I was like, yes, I do.
You're like, you are right about that. 100%.
Question.
Okay. Oh,
Answer?
Should I rewrite my look?
sure.
Okay, great.
Oh yeah, was there something we were gonna change for a reason? I didn't look at anything.
Oh yes. Let's
And did
let's
you want to
go
do that
over the
now?
characters in general. A, because it's been a while, and B, because I uh, updated the
I
organization descriptors, um, which will have uh, uh, some effects on character sheets that may be difficult to undo because there may or may not be notes from the old version of the organization descriptors.
mm-hmm.
Uh,
They.
well, okay. Uh,
So what were
let's
your
see.
changes?
Okay. Uh, so let's go character by character. Uh, should I get back to Atalaska since you were fiddling with the look anyway?
I think I'm done with it now.
Okay. Okay. Uh, okay. So ambiguous, and you're humanoid now, and former. Oh, you got rid of the tentacles.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Um, uh,
Yep.
uh,
Also,
okay.
I'm distinctly male now instead of being ambiguous before.
Okay.
I was updating that text field while you were talking, so
Okay.
that probably did update for you.
It did just now. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. And you've got glowing eyes rather than animal eyes, and used to wear flowing clothes, but now screw clothes.
Exactly.
Uh, and your challenges are superficial and childish. So whenever you do anything that is either of those things that makes the situation more interesting or makes trouble for you,
Mm-hmm.
mark experience, and everybody be uh, totally feel free to um,
Yeah,
gain
experience
those things
things.
and push them. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I it may be a a problem with the way the game is set up, but I think like progression has gone way too slow. Like you should
Yeah,
have
I don't
like
think I've marked experience for anything. I think I have one experience for the first half of that one game.
Let
I
me
haven't
see.
marked it yet.
yeah. I
I've
mean,
definitely been overprotective with all of my requisition rolls, so
I also have only one experience.
yeah.
okay.
Is maybe the approach then, because I feel that we all feel that we've had moments where our flaws have come into play, but we maybe don't remember by the end. So maybe you declare it at the time. Oh, is this maybe? Do I get experience now rather than like waiting till the end and then trying to think
Yeah,
back
mark it
to
at the
how many
time.
times?
Yeah, yeah. It is definitely something that can and should be marked at the time.
Hmm.
Um, so uh, if there have been like a number of times where it's come up but not been marked, let's go ahead and bump up bump up advancement some. Maybe like if you all feel like it's been about 3 times that went unmarked, um,
I don't know how many
maybe
times experience. Uh,
like maybe even 4, and we can do and we can do an advancement thing. Um,
if you want to make this an advancement episode, we could just all say we got advancement.
It's
well,
true.
uh, actually, okay.
Or do you want to wait until
Let's
after this game?
let's just assume that everybody has gotten to 4 of 5.
Okay.
Um, and if you can pop open the design doc, which I do have open. Uh, once you get one more experience, you can pick something in the moment or like plan around uh, plan around
Can
gaining it.
you relink the doc to Discord? Because I try not to
Absolutely.
have.
Well, okay. Uh,
Or Skype,
maybe
since
Skype
Discord
because
is down.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So,
Also,
right.
are the descriptors that are in Roll20, are they up to date?
They should be.
Fantastic.
Perfect.
Yeah. Isn't that amazing? I'm blown away that that is the case, but I think that is the case.
Yeah. Egg
And
salad.
yeah.
Like usual, I woke up just before the game and have not eaten breakfast, and egg salad sounds super delicious right now.
Okay. So actually, I'm going to do it if it's okay in roll 20 uh,
Sure. Whatever
because
works.
if I it'll temporarily mess up the cameras if I do it in
No
Skype.
worries.
Aha.
So there we go.
But now all the people can see the link.
That's okay. You know, if people, but I mean, I'd like to make it easier than having to try and read that long address in in a playthrough to go check out my game. People can go check out my game. I love that.
Um, there is one misspelling in the document that I just noticed.
Oh, there's probably more than one, but where?
Yeah, it has like uh on moves conflict use fork
uh,
on page like 2, page 2.
uh, oh, yeah. Uh, okay. Yeah, there's supposed to be an E there.
I just noticed it because it was like super big.
Yeah. Okay. So, uh, I'm. Uh,
We did it. We're already
okay.
making the game better.
Okay. So I on my local copy, it's been updated on the one that's uploaded.
All right.
Can I open versions? One from a little bit back. Uh, okay, so sorry for the delay.
What page is advancement on?
Near the bottom. I
Not
believe it.
advancement. Page 67.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. On mine it's 76, so I would have misled.
Mm-hmm.
Mine only goes to 77, so that would have been strange.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Moves, moves, moves.
Oh, many. Okay.
Biohacking looks interesting.
Hmm. Yeah, there used to be uh, a whole playbook uh, that was like the hacker, and biohacking was one of the options.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Ooh, there's a new move. Mindscape moves. Search for exploits.
that shouldn't be new. That should be
I think that's been there.
yeah.
Oh, and I have not noticed that at all.
Oh. Okay, so the reason for all this delay and kerfuffle, other than so that you all can check out the uh, advanced
Mm-hmm.
moves, is I wanted to uh, go ahead and make sure that the changes to the organization descriptors were reflected in character sheets. So Atalaska was the well, specifically the Radiance of Labra was uh, uh, autocratic adhocracy that was also a open society with distributist tendencies.
Mm-hmm.
So, uh, 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 autocracy um, is different in that it still gives the -2 woofy, so that doesn't need to be changed. Um, but instead of bonuses to world ruler and manufacturer consent targeting your populace instead of a numeric bonus, um, you could make a note somewhere. And at some point, I want to have a system for including this uh, in character sheets, like when automatically when you roll the route when you make the roll. But that hasn't been done yet because messing around with the character sheets is hard. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
as you well know. Uh,
Yeah.
uh, the new thing is when you're using the world ruler, troop commander, or manufacturer consent targeting your populace on a miss, you may treat uh, uh, you may instead treat the result as a 7 to 9, but add a new need.
Okay.
Um, and so let's take a look at. Oh yeah. So right now, your world ruler move has that two org organization mod reflected. I'm gonna mark that off. And let's see if manufacturer consent did not. Um, Next up, ad hoc. Came as a with a +2 to restructure and a -1 to resist outside influence. That's going to be different entirely. Or I thought it would have been different entirely. For some reason, I do still have the -1 to resist outside influence. But I think that's an artifact. There's also I did add a downside on a miss when on a miss or 7 to 9 when resisting outside influence, you must make an additional choice from the 7 to 9 results. Okay, so I think that is definitely supposed to be instead of the -1. And me just look at the handout and see if I probably did double up with that error. Sure did. Well, this is a great time to edit all this stuff, right? That's what you guys are here
It's
for.
okay.
Sure. While you do this, I'll put a food in the oven. That way I can eat it on break.
Okay.
Sounds great.
Perfect plan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm gonna try and get through this quickly.
Don't worry, I feel like I've been in this position before,
Oh.
and I've been here before. Yeah, I know.
Okay, so Distributist used to be +3 morale, -1 to long-term projects, and as well as -1 influence,
Mhm.
which
So I actually didn't
okay.
know that any of the organization descriptors had a mechanical thing. I thought they were just like, this is how your society is.
Yeah, but I think I went ahead and applied them
Okay.
just to make okay. So the current version of Distributist uh, is +4 morale rather than +3. Oops. Wait. No, that's right. Okay. And there's still that penalty to influence, um, but there is, but the penalty to long-term projects is gone. At least the numeric one. Um, so let me change that to 0. Um, and you should make a note when doing long-term projects. I assign an extra complication.
Cool.
And lastly from that list is Open Society. That used to be +1 Woofy, -1 to resist outside influence, and is now uh, hidden even though it's open. Oh, okay. You still get the +1 Woofy, and I guess make a note. when resisting outside influence, uh, I make the choices rather than you. That's fair, right?
Cool.
Yeah. Okay, so that should be all the changes for Atalaska. Um,
We copied down things.
while uh, while your character sheet is open in front of me and we're going over them,
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to re-mention that you used to be close to Quasi. Forgot how,
Mm-hmm.
but not anymore. Okay. Actually, let me look at how that was uh, mentioned in campaign notes. Oh, okay. But Quasi became. Oh no, I guess uh, one of you became distant after being worshipped. And I guess that was Atalaska who was being worshipped because
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quasi worships an external goddess.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He was my silver medal.
Not anymore. No, no.
uh,
I have to imagine relationships with near immortality get a little more complicated.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah. There's like there's just that much more baggage.
Just an infinite amount more. That's
Yeah.
fine.
Leave that baggage with the old bodies. That's
Yeah, but there's usually, I mean, usually, but not always, a continuity of memory, which, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
which means baggage. Um, okay, and Adalaska also finds the structure of Erethin's organizational objectionable.
fair.
Uh, uh, because it lacks focus. Erethin, why does your structure lack focus like that?
Because they're not a part of it and they can't see the bigger picture.
Yes, yes. Um, and that is a reciprocal relationship, whereas uh, uh, wherein Erethin finds Atalaska to be objectionable because now he is meddlesome.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In a world where you can change your aesthetics on a body scale, why worry about like just there's so much more to focus on. Like
Mm-hmm.
influence over your neighbors and collecting information. So I've heard.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what's a little bit of spying
Uplifting
between?
adorable species.
Creating a terrible, adorable species and making sure they're sentient and know how to run spaceships. Yeah.
It's like giving cats thumbs. What could go wrong?
I've seen cats with too many thumbs and they're exactly the same. It doesn't change.
Oh goodness.
Well,
I,
yeah.
I used to have a cat that could get into like the doorknob cupboard and
Mhm.
I would just find them in there, but they'd shut the door behind them so I wouldn't find them.
Oh,
Just
really?
eating and chewing on marshmallows.
Nice.
Yeah. So, it was nice. I had to baby proof my house.
That sounds like
Don't let cat learn. Yeah.
a cat on the verge of taking over.
Well, that's the thing. Like, they had all this power of where they could go, and they just chose to eat marshmallows. Like, it's not. They don't have very complex plans for world domination yet.
Yet.
We'll work with them a bit.
Yeah. That's what they're lulling us into a false sense of security.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So, Erethin, uh,
Yes.
I think your look hasn't changed. Your challenges are idealistic and overprotective.
Mm-hmm.
And then your bonds uh, were that.
Oh yeah, I have it.
Okay.
Below.
Elsewhere, I know that you knew that Quasi is a fraud.
I know
Uh,
Quasi is a
you know,
charlatan,
effective.
and that there's no god in the basement. I
Yes,
found
yes.
out about it when a
Well,
disillusioned
that's about
clone
to
came to
change,
find
maybe.
me about finding out about the god.
Hmm.
My bond from me is to Atalaska. Atalaska is a terraforming temporary machine that would help you, that I covet. I got the machine though. I got it.
You did.
Yeah, yeah.
I had to work
Should
with some capitalists, but I didn't give them anything. So,
That's true.
and yeah, those are my patterns out. I mean, so those was my bonds out.
Okay.
Does that bond resolve now, or does it change now that she has the terraformer?
Yeah. What do we do when we resolve a bond?
Yeah. That's a good question. Well, I think that we could. Uh, I think there's a couple of ways we could approach it. Uh, we could just switch it over into a relationship with Jacqueline,
Mhm.
or we could just, or if there's a different bond that now makes sense,
Maybe something
now or
like
still makes sense with Atalaska, we could change it to
um,
that.
Hmm.
I want to say something like, "Oh, they helped me out," but really, you're helping yourself live in a more beautiful universe by helping me
That's
because I
true.
promised to change. So maybe it's something like, um, I must continue to work with Atalaska to beautify the universe, or they'll take my machinery away, or they'll try
I
to take my machinery away.
I think that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah.
Because then it'll just be like, okay, you borrowed it. I take it back now.
Yeah, like oh,
Let's do.
no, like it's
Hmm.
on my planet now,
Hmm.
though.
And if you start terraforming stuff, then we can. That's a way for us to get on the same side, which is very
Or yeah.
powerful.
Yeah,
Or uh, uh, if you go with that mauve rather than lavender color, then it's time to return the machine.
yeah.
But
It's like the hue is all right, but the undertones, the color shift needs to be more of a warm tone.
clearly, uh,
Uh,
so your organization descriptors are egalitarian,
yeah.
and
City-sized, egalitarian, open society.
okay. Oh, and the change to that is rather than
Long-term projects thing.
a penalty to long-term projects, uh, it's an extra complication when doing long-term projects. So I guess if you can make a note of that, or notes, and then
I'll be right there in organization descriptors.
sounds good.
Did it
I'll
done.
remove that penalty from the org mod thing. Um, and then Open Society. Uh, you still have the +1 Woofy, and then instead of a -1 to resist outside influence, uh, I believe, and we. Oh, I think they, oh, Instead, I make the choices when you make a resist outside influence roll,
Mhm.
which clearly isn't going to be a problem ever.
No, 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 of course
Especially now that there's like this mega corporation who's like actively.
not. Yeah.
Uh,
What's
Hmm.
wrong with a little capitalism?
yeah.
Nothing. It's when it gets too big.
it, I mean, obviously, capitalism is completely compatible with democracy, um, so there won't be a problem.
That's one way to say that sentence.
So moving on to quasi. It is
Yo.
quasi rather than quasi, or is it either?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
I, I'm asking because I don't remember.
I'm going with quasi, I guess. I mean, I
Quasi.
don't entirely know. I'm not just being flippant. But
Okay.
sure, quasi is fine.
Okay. Uh, so you are self-loathing, and masochistic. And yeah, I think you may have played to that more than a few times over the course of the campaign so far.
Hmm.
Uh,
And I pretend to be an insect lady as well.
hmm?
Oh, it's just a little self-deprecating humor for you. But yes, so those. The, I was just looking at mine. The religious one seems fine. That one's I basically just get like +1 morale, I think is just what that one does. Um, and
Okay.
communism
So,
seems quite
quite a bit different.
uh,
Yeah, there's a
yeah.
whole chart to it.
Hmm.
Uh, okay. Let me see. Did I ever? Okay. So I did advance the clock once for it. Um, so uh, let me reflect that. Rather than a 4 o'clock, it should be an octile one.
Sure, but I think that clock is actually not the communist clock. I think um that's the sub-faction need thing, if that makes sense. Where if I don't please them, they're gonna chuck me out and make it an autocracy if when that clock fills up. I think that's like a plotline clock rather than a need clock rather than like a communist clock. Things you say in
I
roleplay
think.
games.
Okay. Yes. uh, I'm pretty. I mean, I know that uh, there's two different things. There's the need thing that triggered and was threatening to lower your woofy permanently. Um, and I think separately from that, the clock advance towards you becoming an autocracy,
Hmm.
um, which in the new version of communism
Okay.
uh, isn't terrible yet. Uh, delete that place. But it does mean that you are on wedge 5. Uh, so if you had anarchy or demarchy, which you did not, those would get removed, and one more wedge, and you become a bureaucracy.
Ooh,
I know. Look out.
spicy.
Yes. There is a direct action you can take on that to manipulate that clock. Um, like any social move, you can move it you can, if you're successful, uh, you can shift the clock position by one, and then you can use the organization move restructure to entirely add or remove a descriptor.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't be totally heartbroken with a feudal oligarchy, so I might just let it roll, play it by ear.
Okay.
Mhm.
Uh, so, and I don't think Communist was doing anything else. Uh, so let's look at theocracy. Uh, Definitely did change. It used to be. It probably still is a. Yeah, it's still a positive bump to influence. You keep that, but it's still at zero. I think you took the -1 before, and now it bumped it up to zero. Uh, Pretty sure.
I'm not sure. I thought it was 024, but obviously if it's been
Uh,
updated, then that's
okay.
Gucci.
I will double check that. And then before it was a penalty to organization level scan. Uh, Now, um, whenever you search the mindscape, you get to or you must ask an additional question, and the answer to one of the questions will be inaccurate.
Cool.
That's
Uh,
dramatic.
yes. Yeah, I'm slightly worried about that rule because uh, uh,
Well, that's the thing. How good
normally
are
it's
you at coming up with a lie?
I'm not worried about that. uh, but there's sort of thinking to the like the Power by the Apocalypse game structure that the information that the MC gives should be, especially in reaction to information moves, should be accurate,
Mhm.
uh, so that everybody's on the same page in terms of what's going on in the world. Um,
I have another way you
but
could think of that.
uh-huh.
So you know how seduce or manipulate works? Seduce or manipulate
Mm-hmm.
the player's characters with the false information.
Uh, yeah, maybe. Uh,
Like
well,
offering
okay,
them XP
yeah.
if they act on the false information, and or on the other hand, if they um, if they don't act on it, then they're acting under fire or whatever the equivalent of that would be.
Uh, yeah, yeah. I mean, I kind of want to see how it plays out,
Sure thing.
but that's definitely something to keep in mind as a change that may definitely be an improvement, and will
Yeah,
keep
I quite
me
like
sort of
it, but
safer.
I sort of I like cut my teeth playing World of Darkness, where that's like the kind of thing that happens all the time. Um, and also, yes, you were correct about the stats. It was -124. So
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
it's all in we Gucci.
okay. Uh, so I'm gonna put this as democracy. Uh, info as deuce late. Um, uh, fuck. Cool. Um, so I think well, that's not all the housekeeping. Because spook. Uh, let's do force commander role to see how your people are feeling. I mean, that the thing is that
Okay,
that's
that sounds
happening
great.
and changing very quickly compared to how fast the things are occurring. But
Sure. I mean,
yeah,
it's an exciting time to be a worshipper. It's
yes.
right. I'm just scrolling through my character sheet.
Some would say it's a more restrictive time because they now have to go through tests to prove themselves.
Oh, well, you see, I've had art mimics life, and I've had a little breakthrough on the nature of the goddess, which I feel is going to be where is Troop Command, Brad, in the
It'll
character?
be
Is it like
the
top
first
left?
first move in the if you scroll down and look at the first column.
Yeah, Huh. Okay,
All
what
right,
did I roll?
Hmm?
Okay, okay,
not bad,
good. We're
not
happy
bad.
with that.
Uh, Although let me. Thing no, it is okay. 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 Oh, so 7 and 9, you activate both. Ah. Okay. Which is that? Okay. So uh, the whole scientific inquiry bonus to search the mindscape is back because I haven't changed that. Um, so I guess I'll just mark it as an other mod to search the mindscape. Uh, but then that damn obligation thing comes up again uh, with your already totally beat up Woofy. Uh,
Oh yeah, do I reset that now that we're in a new session?
um, yes, because I don't think you lost any permanent Woofy. It was just
And my fortune's at -2 for a reason.
yeah, that was that clears should clear back to 0, I believe. Um, and so the so you're right on the cusp of having the goddess uh, uh, together, both Goo and Mecha, uh, as
And then I'm gonna
one.
stand there and just like push one of my people into corrupted. Just
Get in
um,
there, friend. Get in there.
but I'm okay. So I think until that is officially resolved, it's gonna bump your Whoopee down to 0. Um, and I think that in addition to just wanting to complete that, um, your people are starting to think beyond that to the next thing. Um, and I think it should relate to not just having the goddess together, but uh, uh, some sort of uh, some sort of preparation uh, to start extending her dominion beyond your cult. Uh,
Great.
yeah. Um, so let me see. Um, if well, okay. Uh, they the I think the cult would be happy with like uh 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 preparations that at least just look like they're going to put you in a better position to go forth and spread the word. Um, but you can have the project be um, something that will actually help. Um, it's just
Yeah,
that'll be
I
important.
mean, we can like role play this where I talk to people if you like, or are we doing like other housekeeping with other people first?
Like, why
Then
don't
it's
we
gonna
do
be
a
a
scene
little bit
about it?
more. Sure.
Mm.
Um,
I mean, unless there's more paperwork, we can do that first.
okay. Well, there is another paperwork thing, which is uh, Adalaska's world ruler role, but we
Hmm.
can do that with his first scene. So sure, let's uh, uh,
I mean, because I think the things
let's
we had to resolve
roll
is I
this
hadn't
in. Yeah.
actually pushed anyone into the goo yet.
Okay.
So
Mm.
Yeah. So let's do that. Uh,
Hmm.
I just wanted, like,
let's
if there's nothing
keep going.
mechanic about the effect that person has on their goddess, then we don't have to worry about it. But I didn't know if there was or not.
Um, no, I think it'll affect the fiction, not be necessarily a mechanical thing at this time.
Okay, so we just
Um,
like push and then move on. We did.
oh, oh, you mean in terms of well, no, I do want to. I think it'd be cool to see the scene play out. Um, but it might not actually require a roll,
Okay.
depending. Um, so uh, I guess my question is, okay, so this I imagine this is happening in the room where the goo is being kept,
Mm-hmm.
um, and uh, uh, mechanically, um, I do need to ask who's being the focus PC, and by that I mean uh, which of you wants to essentially I mean which of you wants to set up towards being able to use a an organization move by the end of the scene.
Well, I'm
'Cause
trying to influence their god for sure. Like I have a goal.
okay.
Um,
Yeah, so yeah, I think even though we're trying to
although he could head it
while
and
we're
he could do the resist outside influence roll.
yeah,
Like they could.
I think even though we're resolving the question of what sort of long term project they're going uh, the cult is going to be demanding or Quasi is going to be working towards, it makes more sense for it to be for Aerothin to be the focus, since you have the specific goal of uh, uh, probably asserting influence on the goddess.
Thumbs up.
All right. Let's sacrifice a peon.
Okay. Uh, so I assume there was delegates from Aerothin there, like
Mhm.
a couple of them, right? Like
Yeah, there were
exclusively
a
two.
handful. They never travel unless I think there were 8.
Oh, really?
Uh,
Okay.
there were like 1 or 2 was left on the ship. So like my regular squadron of 6 had gone.
Okay.
So my regular squadron of 7 had gone. I left 1 on the ship. Um, yeah, and they were scientists to help build a body for the goddess and work on integration.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Quasi themselves is there.
Mhm.
Uh, uh,
Fresh off a
what?
murder.
Okay. And Adalaska was back on Lambda.
I think
I
so.
think
Labra.
Labra.
they,
Okay.
Labra.
mhm.
Uh, did you want to have one of the Did you want to play one of the cult members who's in attendance, or did you want to just like see how the sit back and watch the scene?
I could play a cult member. Sounds good.
Okay. Um, do you want to play that same one who?
From the war room?
Yeah. Who probably should have been named and maybe does have one, and I'm just not seeing it yet. Oh yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
we have numbers or something.
Quasi 3468. Who had a childlike voice, was dogmatic, meddlesome, and believes that autocracy is the best government.
Mhm.
So them.
Yeah, sounds
Okay.
good.
Cool, cool. Uh, so uh, I'll just say unless there's any other. Okay, so just to refresh our minds, what does this room with uh, the flesh eating goo look like?
It's probably quite small. There's like a sort of like a hangar slash engineering bay, and then like tucked away in the back corner, there's like the kind of door that looks maybe like a door on a submarine. You know, it's got like the big turny thing and like a small window, and then in there it's just a very like plain room with kind of like a dip down thing, almost like a hot tub, and it's just full of this, you know, stuff that moves and flexes, and yeah, the actual room itself is quite basic. There's maybe some monitoring equipment or something in there, but yeah, it's just like a tucked away, sealed and guarded room.
Okay. Um, and you are cool with having members of the cult in there as well as uh, Erethin's delegation.
Yeah, I mean, I
Okay.
imagine like that this scene is taking place like at the door, and then depending on how it goes, the door will open or not open. That was my
Oh,
how I
okay.
imagined
Oh,
it.
okay. So the hallway right outside.
Yeah, you don't go into the room unless you're going to be eaten. Was my
They
understanding.
understand.
Okay.
Oh no, you get me. You get me, fam.
Cool.
When you're like in the room, it's like that's not safe. That's not a safe place to be.
Okay. Yeah,
There's no
but
safety in the room.
so in this hallway, and I imagine the hallway is pretty cramped just from all these people.
I guess so. I mean, well, I've just popped out of the oven, and like I've had a special dream while I was in there, and so I'm wearing like my ornate hat that's only for like special occasions.
Your big
and
hat.
Yeah, my big hat. I don't want to say space pope because I don't want to offend any
Popes?
space popes that might be listening. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's like my little space pope hat. Yeah, and I'm like super excited. I'm like high energy. I'm like, you know, I'm looking like I've woken up on the right side of the resleeving tank. Yeah, I'm super high energy.
Yeah.
Would 3468 be opposed to um, incorporating Erethin into the goddess?
Yeah, I think that's the whole crux. I think they have the idea that people who are not quasi clones are somehow impure and they might be tainting the goddess.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think uh, there's some discussion of
I
that
know.
before.
Clones of me be crazy. I don't even.
I'm paranoid. You should just push a couple of me in there and figure out that afterwards.
I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try,
Okay.
friend.
So what we had agreed before was that there will be new standards reenacted after, but my people are getting like grandfathered in to being pushed into goo.
Yeah.
In the traditional sense.
Hmm. Yeah,
Grandfathered.
precisely.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Uh,
take it away.
so
Good.
also, does
Oh.
3468 know about Alaska getting pushed into the goo as well?
Yeah, I presume they have come to sort of either wag their finger disapprovingly or try and stop it, or something like that. But yeah, I see you, and I sort of come towards you, and I'm like,
oh, excellent, excellent. We must gather everyone. I've had my second revelation. I think you're really going to enjoy it. I think it's going to be. Oh, I'm very excited. Yes. So if you could call, non-figuratively everyone, and assemble them. We're going to have a little meeting or a special meeting hat on. It's going to be great.
With all due respect, I think your what was the word you used? Revelation? Yeah, revelation.
Yes.
I think your revelation is a superlative. I think it might be maybe a word more like delusion. Delusion of grandeur might be more fitting.
Okay.
And my people are
You
just
are
like
bringing-
standing there like a little group going, oh,
Hmm.
making notes on things.
I just heard you brought someone into the goddess that isn't one of us.
Well, yes, of course. Almost working, but let's step back from this micro issue. It seems to be that you and I have different ideas about what the goddess is. Some of us think it's a certain thing, some of us think it's another thing. And yet we thought there was only one goddess. So how can that be?
and then I sort of take you by the shoulders and look in.
There are two goddesses. One of darkness and corruption and intake, which is my goddess that I imagine, and then there is another goddess, a twin goddess, that's yours, that is pure and untainted and white. You see, it's the duality of the goddess that we must take. And we're probably going to steal a moon later today. We haven't murdered anyone for more waffle lately, and we could do with getting a first church off the ground. People are getting a bit restless. There's a lot of tension. Let's murder everyone on some small moon. It'll be a good little bit of teamwork, bit of bonding.
I've got a story about it.
And I think I kind of you telling me that there are multiple facets of the goddess and we're not talking about the same thing, I think is enough to convince me. Because that seems to make sense.
Because I will tell you, if this dream is anything like reality, worshipping two goddesses is more than 200% of worshipping one goddess. Let me tell you. It's exponential. It's quite fantastic.
It's like
So
somebody in the
maybe-
background like doing math on a
Yeah.
clipboard. Like, yeah, actually,
Yeah, I feel like some of the cult members who are just hanging around there may have problems with this new revelation. Maybe not, but I think there's a role here.
Okay, what would you like me to roll a dice for you, Brian?
This is I think this is close enough to talking about their duty that it's manufacturing consent.
Okay, I will roll a manufacturing consent for you then. Well, I guess it's for me, for us. Let's go with for us.
Okay.
What? I see it. Boom.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And let me pop out.
I'll take that. I'll take that 7.
I'll take that too.
All right. So you are going to need some sort of leverage or evidence for them to accept that there's like two versions of the goddess that they're not in they're not like taking out weapons and calling you a heretic, but you can see that they're questioning this.
I mean, I guess what I would go is with a look when.
Seriously, everyone, once we get the second one up and running, and you can worship two goddesses at once, trust me, it's a real. And in the meantime, we're gonna do some team bonding. Okay, we're gonna go capture a moon. We'll find one with some people that no one really likes that much, and we'll go and shoot them all. It'll be great. Remember when we used to do that all the time in the early days?
The good old days.
I know you've missed it. I've missed it. All this infighting, all this philosophy. It's not for us. And also, as I always say, if anyone disagrees with me, just ask the goddess. I'm just a pawn, same as you.
I think
if you think
one
I
of us
should
raised
be
hands
the
like,
head
I
pawn,
would like to ask the goddess.
get in the queue there. We have some guests going in, but I mean, you're welcome. Just
Okay.
go in there, fellow. Thank you. The small green one. Get in. Get in the queue.
So that is one of one of
like a
Aerothin.
janitor cast one. Like
Oh,
that was
okay.
like sweeping up next to the area when you were like sort of calling everyone. They're like, well, okay, I never get invited to these things, but okay. Like, because we talked about how there's different levels of clones and they have a different level of faith. And I think this is one of the, oh, yes, I love the goddess. I still believe in all of the things. Yeah. So it's somebody of good faith.
Okay.
And can I even like maybe do like an instant ballot? Like I presume everyone has some kind of like personal terminal or something. Could I just do like a straight up thumbs up, thumb down on me, basically? And if it's
Guys,
thumbs down, that I'm just not I'm not space hope anymore. I'll be
like, look, you can do a thing. If you want someone else to be the interpreter of the goddess as well, it's fine. I'm all about worshipping the goddess and nothing else. We'll do it right now. We'll do a vote.
Okay.
Vote me out if you like.
Okay. So yeah, you can totally do an instant vote, and I think from the I think that manufacturer, given that manufacturer consent, that result, they like that leverage and proof hasn't been provided yet, so the result is shy of them going, oh well, it's time to replace you, but you definitely don't have a mandate. Like,
This close.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm genuinely okay with like not being space pope. Someone else needs to be space pope.
As long as the goddess is being worshipped, that's what you want.
You get me, fam. You get me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I basically, while this is all going on, I I'll send your envoy text being like, everyone's just trying to get in there. So yeah, basically created an opportunity for
and like two of them are like on the wheel. They start spinning it open.
Okay. Yeah, so I don't think there's any objection to the door being open, because there's the what with the idea that it's going to be the one one janitor janitor of faith who's supposed to go in. So the door's open. They're getting ready to hop in. What do you do?
Yeah, and when the door closes, there's two people inside. What's the big deal? Because we were given permission before, so we've just sort of been waiting.
Okay. So one of you like goes in with the janitor and pulls the door closed behind you. Is that how that looks?
No, because my people were standing next to the door, ready to put one of their people in, and when the janitor comes up, they're like, "Yeah, here, let's get the door for you, and we're putting this person in too. Like, we're going in together. Like, it's a thing." Because that was what was agreed to before.
Okay. So yeah, I think that's not a problem, and you can pull the door closed behind you. Before there's a reaction, but as soon as that happens and it's realized that this while Aerothin agrees and Quasi Prime agrees to this, the people standing around are all rebel, rebel, rebel. Uh, and how do they react? I think that well, I mean, they're mercenaries violently, right? Uh, so I
Perfect.
yeah. uh, I think that both the Aerothin contingent and Quasi Prime, why don't you both make a a act under duress because they want to like uh, um, push you up against the wall and put guns in your faces.
Well, I succeeded partially.
All right. Let me pop this out. Okay.
What is that under? Sorry.
Oh,
On the right-hand side.
it's a
Asset.
reaction move.
Thank you.
Okay.
Oh my
Partials
God.
all around. Okay. Uh, so
I have
I
to say, your stuffy is much better than mine. It's more realistic.
yeah, with that blinking and everything, that's very
Yeah, this
very
is good
advanced.
animatronics there.
So I guess what I need to ask is uh, the closing of the door is already fait accompli. Um, neither neither person inside has been sucked into the goo quite yet. Uh, what is it that you both want to accomplish? And this can be separate goals.
My person gets into the goo.
Okay, so
Like
you just
that
want to
was,
delay things long enough for them to get into the
yeah.
goo.
They're like
Yeah,
once they
same.
get in, they're like Scrooge McDucking into that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I just want to like guard the door to allow that to happen.
That too. Okay.
And the janitor.
And the janitor.
Okay. So I think that let's see. I think that you can definitely delay things long enough to do that. Um, but I think the choice is, and this may be a no brainer. Um, if you delay that long, then afterwards they're going to keep you under gun and drag the goo to the mecha right away, and whether or not uh, put it in.
Well, keep in mind, like my people are here to work on that machine. Like they're here to facilitate an easy transition and a cohesive melding.
Yes.
Yeah, we actually can't do it without them.
Yeah.
True. True. Well,
yeah,
okay.
'cause
So
that
they
was the
will like
trade-off
they'll
go
like
in the first place. Yeah.
yeah
Yeah, that was the work.
yeah. Uh,
And whether or
yeah,
not
I mean, I guess
we need the person in the goo or the people on the outside to do it, or both, then that could be decided.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I guess the thing is that uh, uh, they're going to move up the schedule such that it won't. I mean, there's already going to be problems, but they won't give you the proper time to do everything like by the numbers.
There's no like testing phase 1 through 20. There's you fix it and then we try it.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, ballpark, how many people would I have to murder until there's just people who agree with me on this particular point?
Uh, let's say there's I mean it's about 50-50. So
Okay, can I murder half the people on my ship, please?
well, okay.
Can I assist?
Well, okay. So you wouldn't necessarily have to murder half of the ship, just like half of the people in any particular room. So in this hallway, and then whoever is in half of
Oh
whoever.
no, no, I'll like broadcast on the open speakers, like if anyone feels that we're past the point of reason and conversation, then please come to the engineering bay and have a go if you think you are hard enough.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And that's like
But
calling
if
Marty
you're not at
McFly a
that point, I
chicken.
am still happy to discuss things reasonably. I feel I am quite agreeable, but at the same time, if not, I'm going to murder you now.
Okay. Nice.
Welcome back.
Yes.
Mhm.
Uh, so let's okay. So are you engaging in this murder fest before people drag the goo down to the mecha deck,
Oh no,
or
like
are you
the
doing it
door, yeah, the door
or
to
are you
the
waiting?
goo is my Alamo right now. I'm planting my boots and I'm gonna have a well of a time.
All
And
right.
he's got 12 boots
Oh
behind
yeah,
him.
and I guess I turned to like the envoy, haven't gone in, like,
You might want to stand behind me or possibly hide in a cupboard.
I think one of them like twists their hand off and like pulls a blade out.
Quasi kind of like inclines their head to you, like, oh, very nice.
Yeah. You searched us for
Okay.
weapons before, but you didn't.
Okay.
Oh no, they give you the fencer's salute with their sword. Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Uh,
And not
okay.
all of them
So
are bodily armed, but they are all. I have prepared them for a hostile environment
okay.
because I knew what kind of situation they were walking into. Just like I dressed people in the right color scheme to visit Tom's character, which I can never remember. I always want to call them Eschaton. I'm like, no, it's not
At Alaska.
that. Atalaska.
Also, my name's Adam. Not
Damn
Tom.
it!
It's
I
okay.
called you Tom earlier too. I'm sorry.
It's true.
Yeah, and I was confused then, but
Yeah, that's fine.
was okay. I thought it
That's
was
Adam, not Tom.
referencing. Yeah, I thought it was like referencing an NPC that
A
I had
different game,
forgotten
like
about, and I was like, well,
no.
let's just move on.
I was like,
Okay.
we have a character named Jacqueline. That's a real name.
Jacqueline's a name.
Yeah, it could be.
Do we have Tom?
Yeah,
I apologize.
I
That's
think I
totally
would have
fine.
remembered that, but stuff. Uh,
I may
so
play with
okay.
too many people. I promise.
What exactly do you want to accomplish right now by murdering a bunch of people?
Um, that's a great question, Brad. I guess what I want to accomplish now is I feel that other people have decided that we are past the point of words, and I would like to remove those people from this situation
Okay.
with, my sword.
Yes. Uh, yeah, I think that's just like
Or, hurt
pretty
enough of them
straight.
that they're like, oh, maybe conversation is that, yeah, return it to conversation. I'm escalating the violence to de-escalate the violence. Sounds weird, but that's how my character's brain works, apparently.
Yeah. Well, I think you can definitely escalate the violence to get your way in terms of the disposition of the goo, whether it stays where it is or is moved down to the mecha. If you
Sure, I mean, I do like that, but I think, obviously, if it doesn't work, then that's fine. But I know it is weird, but I am just trying to remove the people who have instigated violence, so I like it's time for violence now because I still feel it's time for talking. But obviously, if that's hard to like squidge on the roll, we can just do it that we're having things go my way. But that is my ideal outcome if it's workable within the rule set.
Okay. Well, yeah, maybe I'm looking at this wrong. Maybe this isn't use of force. Maybe this is an ultimatum. Like if you're trying to get it back to, if you're like using the threat of killing everybody in your path, and in the process, you're happy to start off by killing a few.
Like they could
but
still
what
kill
you're
people, but the role could
Yeah.
be ultimatum.
yeah.
Yeah.
But if I mean, what you're trying to achieve is just to get it back to a point where people are talking. That
Yes.
Okay. That sure. Let's call that give an ultimatum. So that is suave.
And am I allowed to aid in this, or is that not
Yes.
an aidable?
You can choose whether or not to aid after you've seen the roll
Oh.
result.
I got these stuffed animals for a prop, but now it's just comfortable.
Do I
Like-
just roll my raw swab, or is there a move for it?
It's
I
under
see it.
social
Sorry.
moves, yeah.
Yes.
There we go.
Okay.
There's a lot of moves on this game.
Yeah. My thinking was that by organizing them by activity, that it'd be easier, and maybe it's a little bit easier, but it's still, still too many moves.
Okay, so you succeeded partially,
Yes.
and then I'll roll.
Maybe you have to just defer to the powers of Wizards of the Coast and go alphabetic,
Hmm.
which I wasn't a fan of, but then I did find it more better. Oh wow, look at damn.
Ooh.
Oh, my body.
I am
Nice.
prepared all
Okay.
the time.
Okay, so that gets it up to a 10 plus with the aid. So you get to choose whether the your crew does the minimum necessary to comply with uh, the idea of going back to talking, like they be armed talking, or whether they comply fully and put their weapons away, but they take measures to prevent this sort of
No.
this line of pressure in the future.
Sure. Well, I've got about 8 of those going on, so let's maybe just have the standoff of we talk with weapons.
You don't want more clocks?
No, thank you. No, no, Magusta.
Okay. So they stop. They back off a little, but they still have weapons out and aimed, and are more or less willing to negotiate.
A lot of them have died, but that's okay.
And yeah, there's a couple of them being re-sleeved as we speak, because there's a little bit of that last argument of kings.
Cool. So, is there like a ringleader? Is it the one that Adam was being? Is there like one there that seems to be the leader of their group?
I almost think
Well,
3468 was on your side
Yeah, it sounded like.
because they're for autocracy, and having division within this group is not a good thing.
Yeah, I think much of the reason why you were able to succeed is that they no longer have a leader present. Like they're sort of disorganized and yearning for some sort of commanding presence to tell them what to do. Hopefully, something that doesn't sound heretical to them.
So I guess I speak to God. I'm like, look, everyone, this is what I'm saying. We've been cooped up to so long that we're having to murder each other for fun. And although it can be fun murdering each other, it's more fun murdering people whose money we can take and who will get favors and that people don't like, and they'll be like, oh, the worshippers, they took out those dreadful fellows, aren't they great? And there's the adverts about us, and you see the posters. Ah,
I
we
think
need to go
somebody just
murder some
whispers like,
people who aren't
"There's
us.
new capitalists in the neighborhood."
Huh? But okay, some of you have some concerns. I'm here. I'm 4% ears. Come on.
So,
Seems high.
what? Yeah. So, one of them doesn't. Let's call this uh 3469. Uh,
Oh,
uh, 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 speaks, but doesn't seem like super comfortable with it. Uh, saying, "Okay, the going forth and murdering sounds pretty good, and getting something from it that sounds pretty great. Uh, but we'll be doing this under uh, the banner of our goddess. Yes, we're going to merge her and then go forth.
Yes, I mean that's the plan. I've been, doing literally everything in my power to make that happen. That's why these people are here. They have the technology to fuse the vessel and the spirit. It's the whole reason we brought them in here. And I know you have concern
Okay.
about the purity, which is why there'll also be a pure goddess. And this moon, the whatever that we take, will be her very first church. And one side of the planet will be the dark, and the other for the light. We're going to stop it from rotating. So one side is permanently light and permanently dark, and it will be the monument to the light and dark goddess. It'll be fantastic.
Uh, they like converse with some of the others and like, well, uh, I think that we're going to need to talk a little bit more about that. Let's, but uh, I
Look,
think
let's just keep going
we're
with.
in agreement on the very next step.
Mhm. Sure. Well, look,
So
let's just keep going
let's
with the
do
one
that.
goddess for now, and then trust me, when you try the double worship, you're gonna agree with me. But
nougat and
obviously,
caramel.
words aren't able to describe it. So just until then, you'll have to just, we'll agree to disagree or agree to trust me, however you want to think of it. But we'll just keep going with the one for now. We are going to stop the rotation on that moon,
Well,
though. Sounds fucking awesome.
You hate that moon.
okay. Well, I guess we'll just see uh which of us the goddess massacres once she's together.
Perfect, perfect.
Okay.
I'm always a fan of that. I mean, once again, the door's right there if you want to go and check. Actually, you know what? BRB. So I go like into, I like open up the thing and go, and I'm like, what if there were two of you? And then I get eaten, and I presume every time you get like the last time I got eaten, I got like a little message from the goddess. So do I get a similar one from the? What if there were two of you?
Also, would they recognize the effect that my person had?
Would I, Brad?
Uh,
Would the flavor be
I
different?
think that
Mm.
I think that when you uh open the door, uh, rather than rather than the normal inviting come let us be one. There's a there's like this like you get like the sudden migraine and Um, and the I guess it's not a vision because you're not you haven't been consumed, um, but uh, the the migraine, like for a moment it's just like completely blinding and crippling, and then as it recedes slightly, uh, uh, you hear uh, take me to my body now.
At once, okay. Not what I was, but sure, okay.
Yeah, because the goose pretty well fed right now.
Um,
It's digesting a lot.
Yeah.
Cool. So I like open the door, like poke my head out, and I'm like, and I do like the sort of like let's go motion, like a sort of like, and then yeah, then I like pop my head back in. I'm like,
okay. So yeah, that's happening. The other worshippers, we're making that happen as we speak. But what if, say, you could experience reality from two different points of view simultaneously? That you were both doubled and yet also squared almost, multiplied by your own greatness. Does that sound, correct? Because I think what you just ate, it to an extent experiences reality from multiple perspectives, you see. And you should do the same because you should do everything, oh goddess.
um, like the goo bubbles a bit faster, but it's hard to tell whether or not that means yes, I agree, or no, I
no,
don't,
I'm
and there's
interpreting
no
that
other reply.
thumbs up. I'm like, that's a double thumbs up. I come out the thing, I'm like, double thumbs up. Goddess is confirmed. That's fine.
Yeah, then
Based
people start
upon
clapping. Oh, double thumbs this time.
Um, and the remaining crew start the process of moving her, uh, moving her down to the hangar mecha, unless there's uh, unless somebody objects.
Yeah, but my
Okay.
surviving crew is also like they call the person on the ship and they bring in like little mysterious cubes that they start slotting in that get like absorbed into the metal. Like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
space technology.
Okay. Uh, so you get the goo to the mecha hangar and are implementing the final procedure for merging, and the crew give you sort of reasonable time in which to do it.
Mhm.
Uh,
Just so it's clear, I just want to make sure that we're all open on the table. Um, the devices that I integrate into the machinery, uh, I believe I should roll for something like compromise security or something like that, or something about undermining, because the person I fed into the goo works in tandem with the technology that I'm implementing in this robot as sort of not quite like a back door, but like an influential mindscape back door.
okay, yeah. Uh,
And I wanted to make sure that I got like a roll in before it was, you didn't say this thing. I just want to make sure we're all open as to my
sure.
is
my
it me again?
subterfuge.
Okay.
Right?
So yeah, let's go ahead and do that now. Um, and yeah, that's compromise. I think, or let me open it.
Yeah, I'm not sure
Uh,
which move you think it would be.
yeah,
I mean,
let's just.
could it
I
be a
mean, you're
manufactured
being
consent?
given access essentially. So
Yeah.
I think we can skip search for exploits and go directly to compromise. I think.
permission to click?
Go ahead.
Ah,
All right.
That's 7.
yeah.
So, uh, yes, you can do one of the things. Either
Now,
either the top or
is
the
it
bottom, I
sentient?
think.
Okay, I was like, how would
Because it is
can
sentient, but it's also
I hold it?
I mean, it depends what. I mean, are you trying? Are you focusing on the like the combined mind itself that you're trying to influence, or are you just trying to add some physical layer thing?
Uh, I think I'm trying to access the goddess itself because machines are machines and it can be altered. Um, but is there any way I could like set this up now and take this partial success forward to use one of these actions at a later time to like should it threaten us or do I have to do it now?
Ah.
Okay, roll now.
Uh,
Because there would still be a complication.
yeah,
Whatever
yeah.
whenever I did.
Uh, yes. Hmm.
Because what I'm doing is I'm
Okay.
basically setting a like I can access this. There's a flaw in
Okay.
it that I know is a weakness that
Yeah.
I
I,
have.
so, I think you still need to make a choice whether you're implanting a memory that you can turn on later,
Okay.
or asking questions now that you can take advantage of later,
Okay.
or uh, may uh, at some point in the future you'll be able to
So I should decide now
you
what I'm
know,
doing.
yeah, move the
Okay.
mech itself.
Okay. Um. Yeah, I think I plant within it the idea of multiple of a pantheon. I think I put in the idea of like you don't have to be the only god. I put in the idea of a pantheon. Yeah, yeah. So working with you as well, that light and dark thing. So that when it comes across my people or well, I mean specifically that like you can negotiate it's like, well, I am also this thing, which means it's okay. Like of places they can't you know how like Athena's the goddess of the hunt and people are like, oh well that's her domain. You know, it's just accepted. Sort of like that. Yeah. Like gods have their domain
Okay.
and there can be more than one god or goddess. Yeah.
Hmm.
Mhm. And that's not
Okay.
yeah,
Pipe.
yeah, because that's not completely like out of nowhere too, because the suggestion came to it from its most loyal disciple. So yeah.
Sure.
See.
So it's less suspicious. Less suspicious.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there is a complication.
Yes. But don't worry about
Mm,
it.
fine. I won't.
Okay. Um. So, uh, Quasi, if you would like to go ahead and uh, roll to attempt to complete finally complete the long-term project of merging the two. Um, let's do that, and then Erethin can help or not help.
I,
As
I would help my friend.
Uh, can I do the thing where I try and cheat and re-sleep first?
um,
Like while we're setting
yes.
everything up.
Uh, 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 hmm. Uh, I think like reading the room. If you if you left the room now, um, you you would in like significant ways lose control of the situation, but you can do it.
Well, I mean, I I don't know. I mean, I don't really feel like I am in control of the situation. I feel like I'm giving everyone what they want anyway. Huh. Um, no, let's just do this. Is it, do I just for a long-term project?
Uh, yeah, it's a long-term project.
I will aid. Yes,
Thank you.
David. Oh, I
Are we
suffer
looking?
consequence, right? That's
Okay.
something. Is that this game? I played
So,
so many
Mhm.
games.
uh, yeah, you are gonna get it done.
Okay,
Um,
I am implicated.
and
Mm,
yeah, you're implicated in the result, but the result's not bad.
mm.
Uh, yeah, there isn't an extra complication, so you're not getting tied into an extra complication either.
Okay.
Um, so let's see. Uh, you have everything in place. You make the transfer, um, and this remind us what the mecha looks like.
Yes, please describe it again.
Have you seen if you've seen maybe Me Me Me, the anime short film, it's quite a lot like that. It's kind of like statuesque, feminine form, with kind of like black skin with gold etchings, and it has like sheer fringe and like long gold hair, and like the sort of pattern on it like shifts and changes. It's probably got like a massive dong as well, and like its feet are high heels. It's just this weird sort of quite aggressive looking, hypersexualized, like I don't want to say like Greek goddess, but just the idea of like the statualized, like something from anime. It's so anime. Like you look at it and you're like, oh, what sad lonely nerd boy thought of this? Like honestly.
Okay. Uh, so yeah, I think the last thing we see in the scene is uh, uh, her eyes open, and I think that it. I think to like everybody in the room, it looks like she focuses directly on them. Um, and let's see. I guess I don't want to make it be a role of any sort. Uh, but but like all the crew who are in the room, uh, like as one, fall to their knees, uh, and and so mean uh, that that clock progresses again, uh, meaning that uh,
Pizza party?
yeah, uh, no, it means that when we open when we open the next scene that involves Quasi's crew, uh, they'll have uh, bureaucracy installed, just like like in the moment that the goddess opens her eyes, they're like a bit of organization uh, takes over their like minds and guiding principles that's effectively a bureaucracy. Um, and the effect of that uh, is that it's more difficult to add or remove descriptors uh, for good or evil, or for things you want or things you don't want.
Does this mean I need forms to murder people now?
Yes. If I bring
Uh,
anything, it's bureaucracy.
Yes. I mean, in triplicate, but they can be filled out very quickly. When there's motivation within the organizational structure that there should be murder, those forms will get filled out right quick. But uh, if there isn't consensus, then or if the goddess is feeling otherwise, then maybe there'll be roadblocks. We'll see. Uh, so at Alaska.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, shoot. Do we want to take a short break before we pick up with you?
I was about to say that sounds pretty
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, yes, please.
Alrighty. Give me a moment to ready to switch over things. Okay. Uh, so we'll be back shortly. Please stick around and/or click for the next thing if you're watching this on YouTube-ish. Bye.
You too.